Hey everyone, Joe here. Well, today I got another gear review for you. And what we have today is a VST plugin called Primary Source Expander. This is by Waves, and it's a plugin that falls under the gate/expander type family. So it really works good at gating out, background audio noise in between speaking. And I use it, I like it, and it's so simple, I just had to share it with everybody. So anyway, let's go ahead and take a look at it, but before we get started, check out this product On1. On1 Photo RAW gives you control of your photography and what matters to you. On1 gives you an open system for complete control over your storage, organization, editing, and method of purchase. On1 will also never be a subscription-only model. Learn more and download your free trial by clicking the links in the description below. Okay everybody, so I have Primary Source Expander opened up here in DaVinci Resolve. Now PSE comes in two flavors, a stereo and a mono version. Now you can argue if it's a gate or a expander, and I'll get into that more in the video, but for most part I'm just going to call it an expander for this tutorial since that's what they marketed it as. Alright, now like most gates and expanders, you have quite a few controls, but you're not going to find a lot of controls on this particular plugin. And so let's go over all the controls and stuff. First, looking around, looking for an attack timing, you will not find it. There is no attack setting for this plugin. Now, I've been through the manual and I've looked up a lot of information stuff online, there isn't a lot of information online. So I can't tell you what the attack speed is. What I can tell you is it sounds great, so who cares? Now, I don't know if it's program dependent or if it's a predetermined, fixed amount, say like 10 milliseconds. I honestly have no clue. However, they do tell you the release timings here, which you see are which is slow, medium, or fast, what those settings are, and they say approximate in the manual, so they may not be exactly the same, so it could be that they're program dependent as well, or I'm not sure. The manual just says approximate. All right. It says approximately 500 milliseconds for the slow, and the release time on the medium is approximately 250 milliseconds, which is normally the one I use the most. And the fast is approximately 100 milliseconds. So that's the timings you can expect from the release of slow, medium, and fast. Like I said, I pretty much leave mine on medium, but slow is also very nice sounding, and fast doesn't sound bad either in case you need to cut out more stuff in between. So yeah, I pretty much leave it on medium, but it sounds really good. Now, like most gates, you will find a threshold setting and a range setting. But unlike most expanders, you will not find a ratio setting nowhere on this plugin. So that'll go into later on when I start talking, is this really a gate or a expander? Potato, potato, it doesn't really matter. What I can tell you is it does have a very soft knee, replacing any kind of ratio setting, which I think works great. And I have a graph for that we'll get into later. So threshold settings, pretty much like anything else, anything above -30 here, the gate is fully opened up. And anything below -30, the gate is closed. Then we have our range here. Range is the reduction amount. So anything that drops below a -30 dB here, if the range is set at 0, then nothing's attenuated. It stays at the same volume level. If you drop that down to -30, and once something drops below, say 30 here, it drops down to -31, then the gain is reduced by -61. Or you can go down and see if you can set it at 10, and when something drops down to -31, the actual volume coming out of the plugin is reduced down to -41. Very easy to understand. Like I said, I have a graph of this, but yeah, basic range settings, you can move it around. And they got these nice little clicks here in case you want to use it on touchscreen, or just like clicking on them instead of moving the adjustment. Yeah, I like it. It's really nice. And of course, you probably said, seeing the default here, I had -30 and -20. This is what I normally use in case anybody's wondering. Yeah, I use the plugin. I like it. even though it's so freaking simple, hey, if it works and sounds good, who cares? You know what I'm saying? All right, let's go down to the other controls here. You will notice a ducking. Now, in OBS, there is no sidechain capabilities, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on this. And also in Resolve, there are no sidechain capabilities for plugins. So I can't show you, and for most of my audience that probably want to use this in OBS, you can't use it anyway, so don't worry about it. The ducking capability in this is mostly, and it's what listed in the manual here, is a use case. For example, if you wanted to run like your audio and stuff into this one to keep the expander opening when the band is playing, for example, it will keep everything opened up, but once the audio stops coming in, it will duck the mic some an additional amount, pretty much in case when the band stops playing on stage and the sound person forgets to lower the mic volume, it will just lower the mic volume, you know, like on the lead vocals, so you're not picking up everybody doing stuff on stage in between sets. It sounds like something for a lazy sound guy, but oh well. So yeah, that's like the use case for the ducking. I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you're using it in Reaper or something other, then you probably already know how to use it, so I'm not going to go into detail about it. But hey, just go up here to the little question mark, click on that, go down the manual, good to go. All right, now the monitor here and sidechain capabilities. Now this works pretty decent here. You can choose internal or external. Like I said, I'm using internal because internal only. However, if you did click on external here, you will have some delays. You can choose some milliseconds to feet to meters. Just read up in the manual on that some more. And the ducking amount, and also the gain amount for that as well. Now, adjusting the gain here does not change the output gain on this plugin whatsoever. And this is pretty much all for just the sidechain stuff. And of course, you can turn it on or off if you wanted to. Now, internal, I'm just going to leave it on that. You do have a monitor button, so if you want to monitor the signal coming into this, so if you essentially wanted to bypass and listen to the audio, you can click on that. Or if you want to listen to the external audio coming into the plug-in and not the audio putting out, you can monitor that as well, just by clicking on the sidechain and the monitor, speaker icon here. Okay. Now, next to that, you will have something that you will probably want to use, and that is the high pass filter and the low pass filter. And you essentially set these so that it doesn't pick up or actuate the gate within the plugin. So, for example, I have mine set at 60 Hertz here, which is the 60. And that is so it doesn't pick up any keyboard rumble and stuff going on the desk or me typing when making my tutorials and stuff. However, it also has a low pass one here. And I got set at 15,000 Hertz or 15 kilohertz, depending on what you want to call it. And that way it doesn't pick up anything excessively too high. Nothing triggers the gate. Like this doesn't change the audio sound, it just prevents the gate from being triggered. And if you want to click the link button, you can actually move these together. So that works quite well. Oh well. So anyway, that's the controls and stuff on it. So let's got a little audio track here I'll play, and you can see it, the plugin in action here. At the heart of the Primary Source Expander plugin is a precision expander, tailored especially for melodic sources. See, I have the threshold set at -30. Strings, brass. If I raise it here to 0, PSE it's ducking it down quite a bit. It attenuates the channel's level when the source goes below the threshold you've set. PSE also provides advanced sidechain and works pretty well, huh? For greater consistency and precision when treating complex live scenarios. At the heart of the Primary Source Expander plugin is a precision expander, tailored especially for melodic sources such as vocals, guitars, strings, brass, woodwinds, and more. PSE works like a fader that smoothly attenuates the channel's level when the source goes below the threshold you've set. PSE also provides advanced sidechain and ducking controls for greater consistency and precision when treating complex live scenarios. Now let's crank it on at the fast. Source Expander plugin is a precision expander, tailored especially for melodic sources such as vocals, guitars, strings, brass, woodwinds, and more. PSE works like a fader that smoothly attenuates the channel's level when the source goes below the threshold you've set. And let's click it on slow here. Advanced sidechain and ducking controls for greater consistency. As you can see, it ducking or ducking, but attenuating the sound here over in the range. At the heart of the primary, represented by the red, is a precision expander tailored especially for melodic sources such as vocals, guitars, strings, brass, woodwinds, and more. PSE works like a fader back to medium. That smoothly attenuates the channel's level when the source goes below the threshold you've set. PSE also provides and fast again and ducking controls for greater consistency and precision when treating complex live scenarios. So yeah, doesn't matter if you use slow, medium, or fast, it still sounds really, really well and really natural. Now, like I mentioned, there is no ratio setting on this one, so if you want to call it an expander or a gate, that is really up to you. I actually refer to it as a gate, simply because all expanders are gates, but not all gates are expanders. What differentiates the two is simple ratio. But if you want to know more about that, look for an upcoming video that I will be doing in the future, where I'll go in and explain the difference between expanders and gates and how they work. Now, so anyway, I mentioned this has an extremely soft knee. So let's hop up back over here to the desktop, and I'll show you the knee and stuff that the primary source expander uses. Okay, everyone. So is it an expander or gate? Potato, potato. To me, all expanders are gates, but not all gates are expanders. And that only has to do if it has a ratio setting or not. Now, I'll go into more details on the difference between expanders and gates in a future video. However, I don't want to include all that information in this review, as that doesn't have anything to do with the actual review itself. Now, I did mention I do have a chart with showing the knee that you'll find on this expander gate. And so let's hop over here and take a look at that. Now I have the chart up here, and I'm going to try to explain this as best I can. What I did was in DaVinci Resolve is I set up a 1 kilohertz tone, and I played it back at negative 25 dB. And that is dB full stops within DaVinci Resolve. All right. Then what I did, I set the range to negative 10. So therefore, when I set the threshold at 0, then it's the 1 kilohertz tone, let me get that out correctly, is below the threshold. So therefore, it is attenuated down 10 additional dB to negative 35 dB, represented by the orange line, whereas the blue line represents the original 1 kilohertz tone. All right. Threshold here is represented by the white line, obviously. So if you look here, you'll notice I have a little green square here representing the actual 18 dB knee that you find within the gate here. At negative 14 dB, it starts opening up by, say, negative 17 dB. It is opened up, say, about 34.6. By negative 20, it's opened up to negative 33.6. By negative 23 is opened up to negative 30.5. And by negative 25, it is opened up to negative 28 dB. So you do have a 3 dB delta between the original 1 kilohertz tone signal that is at negative 25 dB and the current signal. This is to be expected with any kind of soft knee or knee action within any compressor or gate or expander. Okay. Now the gate isn't fully opened up until you reach negative 32 dB on the threshold, and then the final 1 kilohertz tone signal has reached the max negative 25 dB, which is what we recorded it into. So yeah, you have an 18 dB knee from the time it starts opening to the time it finally finishes opening. This is something you'll want to keep in mind if you're trying to set up anything, that these, like most gates, wouldn't open up until it hit negative 25 dB. Then from there, it would open up completely. This one doesn't. This one, and this is, like I said, is to be expected with all soft knees. This happens in compressors and anything else. And this right here is also a feature which you would find like in FabFilters Pro G, which has a knee adjustment. However, Primary Source Expander's here's knee is fixed at 18 dB. And honestly, it works good. It sounds good. I wouldn't worry about it. So anyway, yeah, that's the difference here. I'll bring up another little example here. The blue line, for example, in this little just example here would represent a normal gate. Whereas we're up to the middle here, you see the real hard angle. That would represent when the gate would open up, get your normal signal strength, and anything below that would be closed off. Whereas the orange line, let me get that correctly, would represent a knee, making it much softer, going into the transition much more gently, thus more natural sounding. So yeah, you'll find this chart and stuff. I'll post this chart on our Discord channel if you want to take another look at it. And I highly recommend everybody to join the Discord channel anyway, so we can talk about all sorts of stuff like this and my videos and whatnot. But yeah, it's just a very soft 18 dB knee, works quite well, and it makes this gate, which I'm going to call it a gate, sound just as natural as an expander with a very high ratio setting. So anyway, yeah, to me, I don't care if you want to call it an expander or a gate. It works. It works good. Who cares? It sounds great. It works. It's so easy to set up, which is a reason I wanted to recommend it to everybody. And like I said, I use it. It works in OBS. However, most Waves plugins, you will have to go get a plugin called, I think it's Shelter VST. I'll put a link for it down in the description below. What it does is it fixes the whole Waves issue where you can't use a lot of the Waves plugins in OBS because they're their security system they got to keep from the plugins being used or pirated. That's the word I'm trying to get out. But yeah, I'll put that link down there. It doesn't break any kind of piracy issues or anything. It just makes it puts the plugins actually in the actual directories OBS looks at and lets it be able to use them. So anyway, like I said, the plugin works great. Highly recommend it. At the time of making this video, you can get it about $41.99, I think. Roughly, just say $42. And that's using their promo code and stuff, everything on Waves Audio. Do you really need it in OBS? No. OBS has a perfectly fine expander that works great. However, if you find that expander very intuitive, you want something more simple, that we just want basically 3 good clicks and click it on medium, put the threshold where you want it, and put the range where you want it and call it done. Yeah, this plugin is a set and forget plugin that works great, and I highly recommend it. Even though it does come from Waves, I do highly recommend it. I like it a lot. But anyway, that's it for this little product review and everything. This little video. I hope you liked it. Hope you enjoyed the plugin. And if you want to help support this channel, since I am not being paid by Waves to make this a review, do check out All One Photo Raw, especially if you're into photography and stuff, as that's the software that I use to edit all my photos. And I really do enjoy it and find it much, much, much better than Lightroom. So anyway, that's it for this video. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Thumbs up is always highly appreciated. If you're not a subscriber to my channel, please take the time to subscribe. Subscribing is free. It's for you. Let you know I release more videos. Until next time, everyone, thank you for watching.